Have you ever poured yourself a delicious glass of your favorite wine and wondered how it came to be? How did a talented winemaker take grapes and turn them into the much beloved beverage that is wine? Today, we are going to go step by step and see how that wine is made. Hey there, I'm Jacqueline for Vero, where we go around the world searching out wild and scarce wines to bring to the US for wine lovers, businesses, and distributors across the country to discover and enjoy. And of course, as part of the discovery, it is important to learn where wine comes from and how it's made to better understand the minute differences that can often affect the final outcome. So today we are going to break down the process of winemaking into steps from grape to glass. So let's get started. We've got a lot to cover. Step 1 is farming first. A lot of winemakers will tell you this might just be the most important step, the actual farming and tending of the vineyard. You see, when it comes to winemaking, many of our Vero producers will tell you the same thing. If the grapes aren't good, the wine won't be good. This highlights a fundamental truth about wine production, that farming is first. Great wine truly begins in the vineyard, where dedicated grape growers carefully will cultivate and tend the vines. Ideally, you also want the terroir to shine through in the wine, where the unique combination of soil, climate, and topography of a specific vineyard site are able to be fully expressed. The focus on the vineyard and the quality of raw grapes is an important part of crafting good wine. That's why good wine starts in the vineyard. And step 2 is the harvest. During harvest, grapes will start their journey from vineyard to cellar. They will be picked either manually with care or by using machines. While mechanical harvesting is efficient for large volumes and quantity-based wines, hand harvesting into chests or buckets allows for workers to select only the best grapes and allows them to be moved into the winery without too much battering or damaging of the clusters. And this allows for the harvest of only the best and healthiest clusters, which is crucial for quality-driven wines. Now, the next steps are a bit interchangeable, let's say, depending on what type of color of wine we are making, red, white, rosé, etc. So just remember, the order that we present them here might change a little if you're making red wine or white wine. But the color is actually a discussion we are going to have in another video, so please make sure to subscribe so that you will be notified when that video is released. But back to the wine. So now we have our well-farmed, carefully harvested grapes in the winery. It's time to process them. One part of the processing is crushing. Once harvested, the grapes will be typically transported to the winery, and then they will undergo the crushing. This process gently breaks up the grape skins, releasing juice, pulp, and sometimes even the seeds that will create what is known as a must. The goal here is to release the precious grape juice without breaking into the seeds or the stems, which will release bitter tannins. We want the juice released from the grapes and all of that to be mixed in with the skins of the grapes in one big mess. Our next step to go over is fermentation. This is where the true magic of wine occurs. Yeasts that have been either naturally present on the grape skins, leading to spontaneous fermentation, or introduced by the winemaker in inoculated fermentation, will begin their work. We've actually done a whole video on just yeasts alone. I'll have that linked below for you to check out after this. But for this topic today, suffice it to say, these tiny microorganisms will consume the sugars that are present in the grape juice and convert them into alcohol, heat, and carbon dioxide. These yeasts will work until either the alcohol levels go up so high the yeasts die, or the yeasts eat all the sugar and have nothing left to consume. Winemakers can choose to block the fermentation, leaving residual sugars for a sweet wine as well. And then there is maceration. For some wines, this is a critical step that occurs concurrently or immediately after crushing, and sometimes even during fermentation itself. In other wines, it's skipped completely. But this is the period where the grape juice will remain in contact with the seeds and the skins. This contact is crucial for extracting color and a wide array of aromatic and flavor compounds. The duration of maceration can vary from none at all to a few hours, a few weeks, or even months, depending on the desired winemaking style. And pressing. This is where the liquid is separated from the solids through pressing. The juice or wine is transferred to a press, which applies gentle pressure to extract the remaining liquid. The first portion of the juice that flows freely before any pressure is added is known as the free-run juice and is often considered of the highest quality. Subsequent pressing of adding more and more pressure will extract more liquid, but it will also pull out harsher or undesirable characteristics, or maybe maybe even break the seeds. Winemakers will often choose to separate the different pressures of pressing, be it soft or hard or anything in between, in order to maintain quality control in their wines. Now, after all of that processing, we have the aging. So we've finished pressing, fermentation, maceration, and we're done. We have wine. But now it enters the aging phase, where it can rest, so to speak, after all that movement. So depending on a winemaker's end goal, they have several different vessels that they can choose from to let the wine rest in and allow for different levels and types of complexity and characters to come out. Some of the most common used vessels are stainless steel tanks and oak barrels. Let's have a look at each. Stainless steel tanks are neutral vessels that preserve the wine's fresh fruit flavors and a crisp acidity, but they don't impart any extra flavors, and they are usually sealed to prevent contact with the oxygen. This makes them ideal for aromatic wines or wines where fresh, young flavors are the end goal. Oak barrels come in a whole host of sizes and shapes, each giving more or less impact to the wine. The two key factors that oak containers give us are, one, the fact that there is a small effect from the oxygen that can soften the wine and give it more complex tertiary aromas. And secondly, the oak itself can have an effect too. Neutral oak and different levels of toasting can impart flavors like vanilla, toast, spice, and even smoke into the wine. The choices for winemakers are endless between new versus used oak barrels, toasted versus neutral oak, and they all can greatly affect the intensity of the oaky flavors. Other aging vessels can include things like cement tanks and amphora made from terracotta, and they will each offer unique benefits to a wine's texture and evolution. Of course, even the glass bottle themselves can be used as a great neutral aging container too. This aging can sometimes be for days, weeks, months, or years. It's up to local wine laws and winemaker preferences to decide what container and for how long they want to age the wine in. But this is where our biggest amount of diversity for wine can come from. The combinations of grapes, containers, times, places, the possibilities here are endless. The final steps, bottling, labeling, and selling, involve preparing the wine for sale. After the desired aging period, the winemaker feels that it's ready. The wine is then bottled, if it didn't age sometime in the bottle and is already there already. Then our bottle will be labeled, it'll be packed up, and it'll be shipped out to be enjoyed by consumers. You can actually see this middle ground in our video behind the scenes at the Vero warehouse that I'll have linked below, where we talked about what happens to the wine once it leaves the producers and ends up in our warehouse, ready to be shipped to you, the consumer. And of course, I almost forgot the last step, and that is to enjoy the wine. The last part of a wine's life is to be opened, poured into a glass, and sipped and savored. Now, I know everything we just went over is a lot, and you might want to repeat it a few times to memorize it well. Or, if you're the type that learns best by reading, good news is you can get all of this in a written version on the Vero blog on verovino.com. I will have that linked below, and there we have some wines too that exemplify each stage of the winemaking process as we learn them. If you haven't seen this article already, it might mean you aren't subscribed to the Vero newsletter, where we send out regular messages telling subscribers about new content, new blogs, videos, products, and news, and so much more. I will link the sign up form down below, because if you love to discover wine, then that is the community for you. You also can, on verovino.com, check out the whole myriad of farm to glass small production wines and olive oils that are ready to be discovered by wine-loving enthusiasts. So check out the Vero shop to browse our portfolio and get them shipped to your home, or you can contact us for business and wholesale pricing. So thank you for joining me today as we learned all about the different steps that go into getting grapes into your glass. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below, and be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and to the Vero newsletter on verovino.com, linked below. In the meantime, I will see you with the next video, which might be this one here, to continue learning about the fundamentals of wine for better wine appreciation. See you there. Bye.